Lisa Manderach was a forklift operator and a mother of one who was murdered by a man named Caleb Fairley. Lisa was with her 18-month-old newborn daughter, Devon, when she mysteriously disappeared on September 10, 1995 in Collegeville, Pennsylvania. The next day, the body of Devon Manderach was found, but Lisa was nowhere to be seen. The police then began to believe that Fairley played a role in her disappearance and the death of Devon Manderach. This is the story of the murder of Lisa and Devon Manderach. Lisa Manderach was born as Lisa Marie Agostinelli on September 30th, 1965 in Norristown, Pennsylvania. She soon met her future husband of James Manderach when they were only 10 years old. James Manderach had been divorced once, but he proposed to Lisa in 1992 at his church, and Lisa took James's last name. The two were known to be inseparable and really enjoyed their time together. Both were industrious and hard-working, as Lisa had been a forklift operator for Fleming Companies, a food distributor in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, and James had worked for a custodial company. In order to make more money, the two volunteered to clean offices on the weekends. In February of 1994, Lisa had her first child, Devon Manderach. The family then settled down in a small township of Limerick, Pennsylvania. Limerick was a small town founded at the end of the 16th century. In 2010, the population was just over 18,000. The town is known for its colonial American roots and a nearby nuclear power station known as the Limerick Nuclear Power Station. With the arrival of Devon, Lisa and James then decided to work full-time during the week and have more time with Devon on the weekends. Neighbors described the Manderachs as a typical suburban family and very happy with their lives. Many of Lisa's relatives stated that Lisa was very attractive with her pale white skin and dark raven hair. On September 10th, 1995, Lisa Manderach had told her husband James that she would be going to a local shopping center in Collegetown, which is right near Limerick. Lisa wanted to visit a new children's clothing store called Your Kids and Mine. She told her husband she wouldn't be gone long. Lisa then packed a cookie and a pretzel stick in her purse. It was to be the last time that Lisa and Devon Manderach would ever be seen alive. After some time, James began to be concerned that Lisa hadn't returned. He then contacted his family and then the authorities. The police then found Lisa's car, a 1988 Pontiac Firebird, abandoned in front of the Your Kids and Mine store. However, Lisa and Devon were nowhere to be found. The community and police then began to search the surrounding area for Lisa and Devon. At one point in the investigation, James was questioned as a person of interest in Lisa's disappearance, but he was soon cleared. Some thought that Lisa had ran away with Devon, but this was deemed unlikely due to the toiletries still being in the house. Another theory was that Lisa had run off with a local motorcycle gang near the store, but this was also dismissed. As the hours progressed, the chances of Lisa and Devon being found alive began to diminish. The next day, joggers in Valley Forge National Park had noticed a mysterious object on a jogging path near an access road. The police arrived and discovered that the object was that of a toddler and was soon determined to be the 19-month-old Devon. Lisa Manderach was nowhere to be found. The police then combed the area where Lisa was last seen. This was the Your Kids and Mine store. The store was owned by a woman named Ruth Fairley, who had a son named Caleb Fairley. Ruth would let Caleb work in the store from time to time in order to make some extra money. Police found some hairs, dark stains on the carpet, and other evidence. When officials brought Fairley in, they noticed his face was covered with scars that Fairley had tried to cover up with makeup. Caleb Fairley was born on October 21st, 1973 in Gulf Mills, Pennsylvania. His mother, Ruth Fairley, owned a children's store called Your Kids and Mine, and his father owned a pharmacy. In 1989, Caleb's 4-year-old brother, David, had killed himself with a gun. The death had greatly affected Caleb, and he never got over the tragedy. During his time in school, he was bullied for being overweight and had few friends. It was even rumored that he had been caught masturbating in the school's bathroom. He didn't have a girlfriend, and he had a dislike of women. While Caleb didn't have a typical job, his mother let him work in her store. When not working in the store, Caleb spent his free time alone in his room. He had a large pornography and sex toy collection. He also liked comic books and played the game Dungeons and Dragons. Caleb also had a fascination with vampires. Caleb was brought in for questioning for Lisa's disappearance since he was the last person to be around Lisa in the store. He denied any involvement, but prosecutors noticed Caleb's face was covered in makeup. They told him to remove the makeup, which revealed large scratches on Caleb's face. Investigators searched the store for more clues. They were able to pull hair fibers from a vacuum cleaner, and they were determined to be Caleb's. They also got tips from a previous customer who reported disturbing behavior from Caleb. Under pressure, Caleb admitted to killing Lisa Manderach in order to fulfill a sexual fetish he had about vampire attacking a woman. Investigators found a t-shirt in which a vampire was attacking a woman who bore an uncanny resemblance to Lisa Manderach. Caleb said that when Lisa walked into the door and that them being alone, he locked the door to the store and attacked Lisa. However, Lisa fought back, surprising Caleb. Caleb then strangled Lisa to death. He then drove along an access road in Valley Forge National Park and killed Devon Manderach. He then threw the body of Devon out the window. Caleb agreed to show her he had dumped the body of Lisa if he could avoid the death penalty and also say the murders were not premeditated. Caleb then showed where he had dumped the body. It was in a grassy lot next to a gym where Caleb was a member. The body was nude except for a lace bra. There was also evidence of sexual assault. The body was displayed in a sexually suggestive state, with its hair covering the eyes. Caleb was convicted of the murder of Lisa and Devon Manderach and sentenced to life in prison without parole. This was a highly controversial decision since many thought that Caleb should have gotten the death penalty. The murder of Lisa and Devon Manderach is one of the most violent crimes in Pennsylvania history, yet very few people know about it. In December of 2001, the crime documentary series Forensic Files documented the case in an episode called Shopping Spree. Other than this, little outside Pennsylvania have ever heard of the story. The citizens of Limerick decided to dedicate a memorial park in honor of Lisa and Devon.